We're with Ben Taylor of Sidon Water, based in Fife in Scotland, beautiful area of the country. Today's talk is about water conditioning or controlling water hardness. And Sidon Water are specialists in the area of electrochemical water restructuring, which is a very interesting and quite a new subject for me as well. So if you would, Ben, if you could just give us perhaps an overview of your technology and how it deals with hard water problems, particularly in the leisure industry.
Yeah, thanks for that introduction, Andy. We like to call ourselves kind of hard water experts. We like to solve hard water sustainably without the use of chemicals, without the use of salt. Our technology, the Integro, is very unique and different to anything else out there that we're aware of. It not only prevents and controls limescale, but very importantly removes it. Removing it helps massively with removal of biofilm, reduction in bacteria, improved heat transfer on energy surfaces such as plate heat exchangers. And like you touched on there, the leisure and gym sector, pool sector is very new to us, probably new this year. Several proof of concepts going on. And that's probably an overview of where we are in the leisure space at the minute.
Yeah, I think the other thing is with that, Ben, as well, is that obviously there's the Legionella aspect of it as well.
Definitely, Martyn. That's always a concern to any water system, and because we feel our technology is unique in the removal of limescale, that massively reduces the biofilm, because limescale is the fuel or the food source for biofilm. And the knock-on effect is the CFUs, the colony forming units, are massively reduced. Although I will say, with all the systems, what we do see is there's an increase initially. As the system is flushed out, and it purges the limescale from the system, and with it the biofilm. So we do advise that keep an eye on that. Make sure there's flushing methodologies in place, because once you've gone through that short-term pain, there's a real benefit there once you've got it out your system.
This is mainly because the limescale adheres to the pipes and just gives a much more attractive surface for biofilms, is it? That's the main reason.
Exactly that, Andy. It is a fuel or food source. It harbours the biofilm and the biofilm then harbours bacteria. It's certainly what the bacteria is and how it's formed is above me. That's more chemistry. But it harbored some nasty bugs in there, and you want to get them out your system. You don't want them in your water system, and certainly not in your pools.
Yeah, and I think in terms of that, Andy, in terms of that, Ben, we're not looking at instant kind of success here, are we? I mean, obviously we're gonna judge every site and facility on its merits, but anybody that's looking for instant impact, it's not an overnight solution, is it?
Certainly not on the removal front. I mean, you will get pretty quick impact on prevention and control, which is what a softener and the other water conditioning technologies do. They will prevent and control very quickly, and with the limescale, there's obviously the biofilm Legionella risks. There's potential equipment failure with scaled up plate heat exchangers or heating elements. We help a little bit with iron and corrosion. And then obviously we're very new to it, but we're looking at filtration efficiency as well around media, because less limescale and contaminants there, it will be more efficient and effective for sure.
Yeah, and then in particular reference, then you're probably looking at the backwashing side of it as well. That's what you're talking about, isn't it? Yeah,
but very early days. We've got some nice proof of concepts on protecting heating equipment in the leisure space, but we're very keen to move forward onto filtration efficiency, backwashing efficiency, reducing water consumption, and just making everything a bit more efficient, energy efficient, and more sustainable.
Yeah, and I think from Andy's perspective and mine as well as being tutors, is that we're aware that there's major issues with centres in hard water areas all over the country, isn't there, Andy?
Certainly. The Midlands southwards particularly affected, aren't they? I know lots of sites in the Midlands that struggle with hard water, and heat. The money wasted through poor efficiency heat exchanges is huge, isn't it? We know that.
Yeah, I mean,
particularly.
Yeah, go on, Ben.
I was just going to say it really is. I mean, the likes of the carbon truss, say for every 1 millimetre of limescale, on a heating surface, there's a 7% increase in energy. I think British Water say for every 1.6 mil of Limescale, there's a 12% loss in energy. But I mean, we've seen examples of systems with, if you've got 5 and 6 mil of Limescale, it could be 30 to 40% increase in energy because you need to heat up the Limescale, which is an insulator, to actually heat the water. So it's massive impacts and implications on energy consumption.
So you're almost having to raise the temperature of the water to have the same, to try and maintain the heat exchange.
Exactly that. And we've seen instances in leisure centres where the flow and the return, there's such a differential that it's a really inefficient system. And Limescale might be a big cause of that. We've seen examples, and we've got some exciting trials at the minute where, you know, if we can get that differential in temperature to be more regulated, again, it's a saving on energy.
Yeah. And if a customer has already got, or a potential customer has already got a water softener, then why would they need your technology? What's the difference between water softener, a traditional water softener, and your technology?
Water softeners, I must be honest, are great. We do at times sell and install water softeners, but at times we also replace them. They've been around a long time, and they certainly work. You know, they use ion exchange. Sodium basically replaces calcium and magnesium in the systems, and they are fairly effective at scale prevention. I guess the issues come with the ongoing maintenance for salt, the ongoing cost of salt, which continues to go up. They use a significant amount of water in regeneration cycles. There's obviously the environmental concern with the chloride discharge around again, use of salt and other chemicals that are created as a byproduct. And I need to say it again, sorry if I keep saying this, but they don't remove scale. And that's where we are unique. We'll remove the existing scale in the system. And the last thing I would say about softeners, they're great when they work and when they're specified correctly. We've seen far too often the salt bin's empty and the system's too large, too small, or maybe the maintenance team on site, it's fair to say, don't really know how to maintain and regulate it. And an annual service just doesn't get much done on it.
I mean, that's that.
To agree with that.
That's an experience that we've met as well, where there's been water softeners, Andy, and we've gone in the plant room and the drums are empty.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, just basically through lack of top-up maintenance schedule, whatever it is. And a lot of the time, they don't really understand what it's there to do either. That's another major problem as well. So they don't see the importance of topping them up.
I completely agree with you. And I think it's important to stress, we're very different to a softener. We can sit alongside and upstream of a softener, and we've got dozens of installations where we do in a number of industries. Softeners can be effective, especially where minerals need to be removed, in potentially steam applications. But yeah, they need maintained and they need looked after. And it's funny, quite often when we go to site, we do get badged as a water softener guys, and we need to say, well, yes, we can help you with that, but what we're trying to do for you is more sustainable and very different. And I think I would add that that's the key thing. It's unique, it's different. We've got lots of example of it working. People sometimes confuse us with softeners. They sometimes confuse us with magnet systems, catalytic exchange, zinc sacrificial anodes, wraparound descalers, modular oscillation devices. That's all what's come before in this space of water conditioning, and we're very different. We're electron injection. Yeah. We go on the front foot to break down the bonds of calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate, iron and hydrogen, and that's it in a nutshell. And again, there's, with the system itself, we say there's no schedule maintenance. However, we'd recommend an annual service. And again, there's no salt, there's no chemicals. The unit's passive. It's all about the clever use of electron injection.
Yeah. Now, the
interesting technology.
Yeah, it is interesting. So the key thing for me, Andy, and Ben, to move on from there, is that obviously where are we going to install as well? So in these hard water areas, we've got issues on the cold side and the warm side, if that makes sense. We got the cold water in terms of the mains water coming in, which a lot of pools will be using for backwashing and all that kind of stuff, Andy, as well. So we've got the mains water side of it, so the cold water, and we've also got the warm water in terms of feeds to the heat exchangers and what have you. So in an ideal world, Ben, I would presume that we're looking to install on both the cold and the hot water side.
Completely right, Martyn. It is a full building protection of Limescale system, but in order to achieve that, usually on the cold main, slightly larger unit, maybe a 3-inch or a 4-inch, and then one in the heating system, usually directly before the primary heat source, like a plate heat exchanger, just to keep that free of scale. Because we've got lots of examples in other sectors, such as agriculture, where one unit will protect a cold water system for 115 kilometers of Limescale, whereas where there's heat and pressure, that effect is not as long lasting. So it would be cold, hot, and then should have full building protection for Limescale.
Yeah, that's fine. That's great. I mean, obviously, in terms of the members and people watching the video and what have you, that's just a great example of where it needs to be as well. So it's not just the cold, it's the warm side as well.
Yeah. And to pick on something you said there, Andy, geographical location's an interesting one, because you're exactly right. We're based in Scotland, and it's a soft water area. All of our customers in Scotland.
Whiskey.
Yeah. It's good for producing the good stuff. All of our customers are borehole laundry customers, or where there's Limescale issues. We don't have much of a leisure footprint up here at all. Although we feel we would have marginal gains and benefits, it's very much the middle of the country and south, but then the east of the country as well. I mean, up as far as Newcastle, Sunderland, York, the east of the country and East Anglia, and does have pretty hard water. There we're on some things around Barnsley, but the northwest with the Lake District and what have you is it's pretty soft, like Scotland and parts of Wales.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is with that as well, although we're talking about hard water areas, soft water areas shouldn't be ignored either, because we've got issues with corrosion, and obviously corrosion can be a harbour as well.
Exactly that. I mean, we've got a few instances, again, not leisure, we'd like to get more, in Edinburgh, where over time, it's a populated area, a city, Limescale builds up. It maybe doesn't build up in, certain areas in the south, around Bristol and the south coast, you're talking about hours and days, and it's scaled up. Whereas up here, it might take weeks and months, maybe even years, but it's still a problem and it's still there.
Yeah. So what we're saying from our perspective is it's yes, predominantly hard water, but it has got benefits to soft water areas as well, but maybe more geared to a long-term protection of the plant and machinery than the short term as far as the hard water area is concerned. That's my view.
Yeah, I agree entirely, Martyn. I mean, in the hard water areas, most of our units see an ROI of less than 12 months, certainly less than 18 months when you're looking at your heating bills and you've got the scaled up system. Soft water areas would be longer, but I mean, this heating equipment and energy bills are not going down. Boilers and things like that are expensive, and protecting those assets and saving money, it will pay for itself.
Yeah, that's exactly why we wanted to talk to you, really, because it's a huge problem at the moment for the leisure industry. The bills might have come down a bit, but they're still way too high.
Well, you get and even if you go on the domestic market side of it, a plumber coming in and changing your boiler, more often than not, the problem is being caused by calcium buildup.
Yeah, exactly that.
That's
it's an interesting topic that probably widens out into a bigger area, because water quality in hard water is not really on anyone's radar, the government, but they will throw funding out there for solar panels or foam insulation or windows. But if you actually look at how much more scaled up systems costing you every year to heat, it's very significant.
Yeah. And I think, another key thing with that is that we're talking about the energy saving and things like that, but obviously if we've got a better system, then we're going to look at reduction in chemical usage as well.
Yeah, that's a big plus for us. Obviously our unit, there's no salt, no chemicals, and we do, everywhere we go, see a reduction in the use of chemicals. I think it's important to say we don't dislike chemicals. They are still needed and they are essential for certain key aspects of any water system maintenance. It's just that to be more sustainable, to manage the use of them and reduce them is a good thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, as you're doing now, getting into the leisure industry, we've got no alternative but to use chemicals.
Yeah.
in terms of protecting the people that are getting in the water, we have to use chemicals. We've got no choice.
Yeah.
There's no other system on the market other than chemicals that we can use to control our chemistry.
And that makes complete sense. And the other good thing about the unit is we've not come up against anything that we can't set upstream of, and it makes more effective, which is a good thing. You know, we play nicely with softeners, nicely with other devices, copper silver ionization, filtration, and chemicals.
At the SGA conference a few weeks ago, I think, did you mention that you had some work going on at Cranfield, or there was about to be some work commenced?
No, exactly that. We've commissioned a kind of a study there, which was very interesting around reverse osmosis and filtration efficiency. So it was to do with contact time and holding integral water versus non-integral water. We ran trials on fresh water, brackish water, seawater, and in every instance, the integral increased the permeability of the water, reduced the biofilling on the membranes, extended membrane life, and ultimately just made it more efficient and effective. I mean, I can certainly share that full white paper with you guys. And I think the interesting thing for us as well on that front is it also reduced not only the calcium, but the chlorides and the sulfates within the water. And I think it's key to point out, we do not affect pH or anything like that. It is a passive unit, but it does create some really interesting reactions that we're just beginning to get a hold of. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I think the other thing is, Andy's probably seen it because he's a pool engineer as well, is that on many occasions in leisure, we've been changing pipe work in plant rooms, and we've seen 6-inch diameter pipe reduced to 2-3 inches.
Yep.
Basically due to calcium buildup in the pipe work. But that's putting a huge pressure on the system anyway.
It really is, and it's making it more inefficient and having to work harder. And the one thing we would say is, we say to a number of people that are thinking about that, why don't you put our system on and let it do what it can do, and you might not need to replace that pipe work, which is often that could be a huge cost.
Yeah. What kind of maximum flow rates from the devices that you've got, and what are the limits do you think you can go to?
Again, the largest unit can do anything up to 600 cube an hour. That's a 10-inch unit. Our smallest unit, a 2-inch, does less. But we've never encountered a situation where certainly not in the leisure setting, where we cannot specify a unit to deal with the flow rates required, basically.
Interesting, yeah, because obviously, leisure centres are pretty big water consumers, aren't they? When you think, or their instantaneous demand can be quite high at times, can't it? Because you might have pool top-ups in operation. You might have your hot water showers going.
And that's another example of what a lot of our customers use us for. In the gym space, we help significantly in regeneration time of hot water, depending on the system. So if you've got a lot of people at a leisure centre coming out of a spin class or wanting to shower because they've been in lessons, there's the Limescale hasn't hindered that getting up to temperature, and then people having cold showers for sure.
Without going into the greater detail, everybody, we're talking about cost saving and we're talking about that, which is great, but just some kind of idea, not in great detail, but what kind of costs are we talking in terms of purchase of an Integro system? It's £3,000 to £4,000. That's kind of our Integro Eco unit, which is for direct application or 2-inch smaller flow rates. That's moving quite a lot in America in the residential market as well, replacing softness and being a bit more sustainable, because obviously homeowners certainly don't want to remember to top up salt. So that's our smallest unit, 3,000 to 4,000. And then for the larger units, it does kind of get to the 14,000, 15,000 pounds. But I mean, you're talking about the smallest unit is maybe 9 or 10 kilos, whereas the Integro 10, the 10 inches, it's 100 kilos plus. It's a very substantial unit. Yeah. I mean, the thing is with that, when we're talking about the capital cost of these pieces of equipment and what have you, that's in terms of the overall spend of some of these leisure facilities and things like that, that's a very, very small amount of capital outlay in order to actually potentially solve a major issue.
Completely agree, and that's where, even with the ROIs we calculate, it's purely based on energy saving on salt, saving on man hours. We don't get into your heating equipment's going to last an awful lot longer, and other assets are a protected and a more efficient way, as well as, like we touched on earlier, reducing your risk of bacteria and biofilm.
That's fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the costs associated with cleaning and maintenance for Legionella control.
Unbelievable.
That's quite a big cost, you know. And if you can reduce the amount of scaling, that's going to make a big difference for people's maintenance regimes and things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
another area within leisure facilities as well, saunas, for example. You know that traditionally they've had a lot of problems, haven't they, with hard water? You know, the steam generators in saunas.
Yeah,
you know,
saunas, jacuzzis, they're kind of hot topics. Steam kettles as well, definitely. The amount of times we've seen some leisure clubs go through them, and we will extend the life of them. We will make them last. They will, again, we're not taking the minerals out. They won't last forever, but they'll last 3 or 4 times longer, easily.
I just find it all really, really interesting, Andy, myself. I can see this kind of technology making a huge difference in terms of the wet leisure industry.
Where was the technology first developed, Ben? Is it a UK, a European invention, if you like, or is it?
It was actually invented over in America. It was invented around a more significant application. It was invented around ozone and cooling towers and oil and gas, because it helps deal with paraffin wax. And what the founder and MD have done is kind of commercialize it down to be more available for all. And it's probably an important point. A lot of the other devices out there are very much residential and up, whereas we've come the other way. So we're commercial, municipal, desal, large plants, and we've tried to commercialize it down to be more available for leisure centres. Are huge users of water, but when you compare that to a water utility company, you know, it's a bit different. So we definitely can handle significant flow rates, and yeah, it was invented over there to deal with problems with Limescale, you know, and obviously Limescale then has the knock-on effect for all these other problems we've touched on.
I mean, obviously we're talking about newest technology in the wet leisure industry, but you got proof of concept exercises going on all over the country at the moment, Ben, which I'm obviously aware of as well. So in terms of that, as far as the wet leisure industry is concerned, then, you know, within the next few months, we should definitely have some proof of concept in terms of differences that these systems have made to existing wet leisure facilities. Yeah,
we will, and more than happy to share that. If you keep an eye on our website, we'll certainly share it with you guys. Appreciate the time today and going through all this. And I think the key thing is that we're keen to work with anyone and everyone out there. There's no silver bullet for water treatment. The Integro can work upstream and alongside a number of other things, and we've spoken about Limescale control and removal, and that's our bread and butter. But even with the likes of bacteria and Legionella, we kind of position ourselves as a secondary control solution to that, because we're not dealing with the bacteria, we're dealing with the Limescale. So I think it's important to say we want to stay in our lane, which is Limescale, hard water, and all of the knock-on benefits from that, which is key.
Yeah, I mean, go back to what I said earlier, and that's the simplistics of it all. We need to keep it simplistic sometimes. Your job is to actually control the food that these bacteria feed on. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you will need other mechanisms like you touched on with chemicals and other procedures and filters and filtration. This is just one part, but we feel it's a key part, and it's a part that is it's more sustainable and efficient than a lot of other things out there, we feel. So yeah,
it would be great to get you back, Ben, when you've done some of these other projects, and be interesting to look at some results and follow it up with you.
Be happy to, as soon as we've got them. Be very happy and to come back and talk about specific examples of pool applications, play heat exchangers, as well as jacuzzis and steam kettles, and they're all in the pipeline, and they should be here soon.
I think in terms of the viewers, Andy, as well, is that if they want any more information, they can come directly through us at the Pool Operators Club, and we'll share that information with Ben as well. Because, no disrespect to Ben, as good as the technology is, and we think it really is good, nobody's going to move on it until we've got a proof of concept.
I think that's a good point, and I think the key thing here is our foundations are very much in the science of what it can do, how it does it, and then the efficacy and proof of that. And that's exactly what these proof of concepts are. We're not sitting here making claims without evidence to back it up, and we just need more of that evidence right relevant in the leisure and pool sector, and it's not far away for sure.
No. Well, it's worked in others. It's worked in other areas, so the likelihood is it will work in the leisure.
Yeah, I mean, water's water, and we've got loads of successes in hotels and hospitality and agriculture, and that's what made us look at the leisure space, because of where we protected hundreds of hotels around the world, the knock-on effects that we had hotels in Spain where the Integro went on and the cleaners actually thought they'd replace the jacuzzi jets in the spa. They hadn't. It just removed the Limescale, and that's where we thought, oh, maybe there's something in this pool thing that we should take a look at.
It's fantastic, mate. Absolutely superb, and it's great for you to jump in and give us an opportunity to speak to you.
No, I very much appreciate it, guys, and appreciate everything you're doing with educating the pool sector on best practice. Let's say it's a good thing.
Fantastic, mate. Thanks very much for your time.
We'll put some links and information down in the description below the video, so if anybody wants to find out more about that. Otherwise, we'll try and get back with Ben in a few months' time and look forward to catching up and hearing some results. So appreciate it.
No, thank you, guys.
Really
Really appreciate the time today, and thanks for having me on here.
Take care, mate.
Cheers.
Take care. Thanks.